Welcome to the Super Facts Show on the Super Facts Network, featuring St. Laz, who also hosts the popular web series Gem Pop and music journalist Mark Walter Ward. They have discussions about hip hop, culture, society, philosophy, and everything else. Now available on YouTube and wherever else you get your podcasts. What up, world? It's the Super Facts Show, Super Facts Network. It's your boy Mark Walter Ward. Today we got a very intriguing young man with us, B.Lilly. How you doing today, brother?
What's going on, man? Happy to be here. Doing pretty good. What about yourself?
Man, I'm chilling. You know, prepping for the interview or the conversation, the podcast, whatever. I was listening to some of your unreleased music, which I guess I should say your team was kind enough to send me, and then checking out your Dear America song. That how long has that been out?
Man, so we dropped Dear America in February, right at the end of Black History Month. So it's rather fresh.
And it's definitely topical and relevant and all those usual buzzwords when you talk about songs that have a content like that. And one thing that stood out to me listening to the song, other than you sing your ass off, I really like at the end when you be singing everybody's names, like I can hear the emotion in your voice. Like I always feel that the best music conveys either emotion or thought, but
Absolutely.
like in a manner that either makes you feel it or makes you think about it. But I don't know if there's a way that the lyric video was presented or something, but I had the thought, a couple people have touched about it on my show that Black Death has always been profitable. And I was curious, given that you have a background in education, clearly you put some next level thinking in these subjects. So if you accept the fact that Black Death is profitable, I wonder if that was something that was intentional or if it was a welcome byproduct of another racist practice.
Man, as you made that statement, the first thing I was going to say is Black Death is profitable to who, right? So what was that?
Companies, corporations,
for
politicians,
sure,
movements.
For sure, no, absolutely, and that's kind of what I was implying to. Is your question is whether or not I agree with that statement or?
No. It's like, given that because I saw you nod your head, I said, given that you agree with it, do you think that was like an intentional construct, like, oh, we're gonna make some money off marketing this Black Death, or if it was like a welcome byproduct of another, a welcome accident, obviously, but for a product of a racist system, or something in service of a racist system. Like I wonder if they knew that it was gonna be that profitable, or if there's like, oh, we struck gold.
Yeah, I don't think they knew, but I think that once they, just started to see just kind of how it affects, what I'm saying, people on many levels, they most definitely, as, folks do it in this capitalist world, just figure out ways to profit off of, just ways that keep them on top. So.
And so it's systemic racism, and I see a lot of people fighting back against the system, and a lot of it's overthrowing the system. But what I'm curious about is, if you eliminate the system from systemic racism, does the racism stop? I mean, obviously not all the way, but like the effects of systemic racism, or like is that enough? Is my question.
When it comes to dismantling this big layered issue that we have, racism, obviously it comes in many forms, and when it comes to dismantling, you definitely have to penetrate the system, and I think that when it comes to penetrating the system of the construct of systemic racism, I most definitely think that can most definitely help kind of get rid of it. But at the end of the day, racism is a state of mind, right? It's mental. So my approach is, how do we kind of deconstruct narratives? How do we kind of deconstruct the minds of the young people, for them to understand what makes people, our history, and how can we move forward and just getting the healing and the equity, and eventually like equality for everybody.
What would be like if they gave you one wish that's reasonable, not like no magic wand shit, like get rid of all guns. Like what do you think is a realistic improvement in Chicago that needs to be implemented immediately?
That's a great question. Immediately, um, you know, for me, I'm really big on equity, right? I personally feel like, um, when it comes to systemic racism, when it comes to these ideals that have been taught for so long, I really think the key is the youth, right? And to really build programming for them that obviously promotes equity, and gets them to be in programs that allows them to not only express their trauma, but to also just get them an opportunity to learn and unlearn, and really just share the things that they feel. I really feel like when it comes to these issues, people go so long without really understanding their privilege, and it goes so long without understanding how they're how certain identity markers of them kind of give them privilege or not. And I think that once that's taught, you know,
Not good, bro.
oh, cool. Once that's taught, in a way that's effective, I really feel like we'll see some true change. So that's my risk. That's my wish. I do definitely understand that it's not going to happen in a week or a month or in a year, but I feel like if we do the work from the ground up, starting with the youth, we'll be able to see some change.
I can dig it. I mean, one thing I feel like that, you know, like before drugs and everything, Chicago had like a super strong Black community, and part of that was that there was a realistic path to home ownership, and I feel to improve poverty in general, regardless of race, where it's located, you got to give poor people a legitimate path to home ownership. Man, people care about things
Absolutely.
when they own it.
Absolutely. Housing affordability. It's so many angles. Housing affordability, agriculture, arts and education, right? Urban conservation, so many things and so many takes on it. And housing affordability, as you mentioned, is definitely, really important in terms of, just equity and people having a chance to actually, live this life in a way that, um, kind of reflects this American dream that they pitch to us.
I mean, getting into your bio or your one sheet or whatever you want to call it, you're a teacher, right?
Yeah, so I do life empowerment workshops for middle school and high school boys through an organization called College Mentoring Experience. So, we do like power hour sessions on, trauma, goal setting, how to deal with conflicts, stuff like that. So, mhm.
So what my question is though, is that so you deal with a lot of youth, and do they ever exude a sense of hopelessness to you?
That there's definitely there's a range, right? And I've realized that that range usually depends on the things that they've experienced. Um, in terms of hopelessness, I would say that the kids who I mentor are quite hopeful, right? They have dreams, they have aspirations, they have an idea of what they see this country being like to them. And what people don't understand, a lot of these kids, the first election that they witnessed was Obama's, right? So imagine being taught American history, but the first presidential election that you witness is a Black man. You know what I'm saying? So that representation to them is like, all right, well, in their mind, things are getting better. My president, looks like me. So what else can I envision? I can actually see myself being the president of the United States. I can actually see myself being in a high position of power that can, bring some change to my neighborhood, to the country, to the state, and just do whatever I want to do. we live in a world where athletes have such a voice. People like, LeBron James, Jaylen Brown, people who these kids idolize. You got rappers and athletes who, most of these kids, idolize, want to be like, speaking up and being active in the community. So it allows them to be, hopeful. So I really don't feel any hopelessness for them. It's really a lot of, just being a kid, right? Just wanting to have the opportunity to live and grow up, and just aspire to do great things for the community. That's mostly what I feel from them.
And like you said, you would know from college mentoring, the organization which your father started, right?
Yeah, he
So,
started
like,
in
I want
2014.
to hear about him. Like who is this man that starts the college mentoring? I'm sure he must be interesting himself.
Yeah. So my dad is dope, man. So he founded College Mentoring Experience in 2014, but this was something that he was doing way before he started the organization. So my dad's a minister. He was like, over the youth program at my church, and man, we'll do like college tours, and he'll take, a handful of kids to different cities all over the country, just to get them out of the city, right? You got so many inner city kids who've never, been out of been out their community, right? So he'll take them on trips, for instance, to LA, and during these trips, they'll sightsee, they'll always visit a college, and they'll just get embedded in the culture of that city. He did that for, I want to say, like 10 years. And by my senior year of high school, that's when I graduated high school, 2014. He was just, just trying to think of, the next thing for him. And, College Mentoring Experience was birthed, and we've been at it for about 7 years now. There's 3 different branches of the organization. So we do like one-on-one mentoring, where kids are matched with a working professional that has similar interests to them. We have school-based, which is my main thing, where we do these life empowerment workshops in schools. And then we have site-based, where we meet at a local community facility. Shout out to By the Hands Club. And we have just a combination of these kids from all over the city just come and do our workshops with us and run a sports clinic after.
What's so if I ask you like a notable success story, what immediately comes to mind?
Man, an immediate success story. I think of so many to pick from, but I'm not gonna say her name. I'm kind of blanking out on her name, but I've witnessed, someone who was, struggling in classes, being bullied in school, which obviously, caused their grades to drop. The bullying most definitely led to a lot of self-esteem, even as far as like suicidal thoughts, suicidal attempts. I've seen a kid literally get a mentor, who just empowered them in ways that they've never been empowered before. Turn around, now they're the salutatorian, of their 8th grade class, getting ready to go to high school. Colleges on their mind, have already, been to different colleges, even outside of, the city of Chicago, and are now, you feel me, just trying to move forward in their life, and now they have a plan, right? That's typically, what we see in our kids, and that's really the power of mentorship, right? So that's kind of like a story that I can apply to a handful of youth that I've worked with over the years.
You said your dad was a minister, and one of those songs, unreleased songs, I really liked. I like Most High, and I wonder how you
Thank
feel
you, man.
about in cancel culture. I don't know if it's to the better or for worse. It seems like a lot of attitudes that you typically would associate with Black Christianity are becoming problematic. Like, for instance, if they find out that they've used this to trick media, sports media, like you remember Chris Broussard, they got him by knowing that he was a Christian, asked him how he feel about gay people. and then he gets suspended for answering like his beliefs. So like, what do you think when you see things like that growing up in a, you know, like obviously you put a lot of thought into things, you're observant, and you see, and then you've been in college, you know, you must have been around extremes on the left culture as well, you know. So I'm curious, like how do you reconcile that?
Um, that's a great question, and that's something that I had to experience for myself, right? Just being in different spaces, being around different people who didn't necessarily believe in the things that I believe in, but something that I love about being a believer and being someone who has encountered God is just understanding that His love, for people. His love is unconditional, right? That is the truest and the best love that I've ever experienced, and has definitely transformed my life uh, in so many ways. And all I want to do is share that love and tell people about that love. That and that love is unconditional, meaning that it doesn't matter who you are, or what you believe, or what you practice. So I just try to keep it focused on that, and just try to always leave with love, and just be a reflection of that unconditional love. And I feel like if you really listen, and really communicate with people with that in mind, they'll be receptive to you, and to um sorry, I'm kind of blanking out, but yeah, I just feel like people will be receptive once they experience that unconditional love, right? We live in this world where people are so judgmental, right? Which leads to that cancel culture. And God is, to my understanding, the only the only person, the only being that just loves all unconditionally. He's definitely a comforter. So that's my answer to that.
You know, I was in the class in 1996 in Prince George's County, Maryland, and it was definitely by far like mostly Black Christians in my graduating class, or at least their parents were. Like we was probably the first generation to stop messing with church as much. And I remember when they were going to college, a few of my peoples, it was like people get together and like kind of like have talks and shit. And I don't know if they really do that no more. I know they did that in Chicago, but like in the neighborhood and shit, like everybody be at the park and you get done balling, and like some old head cat would like give y'all some knowledge about shit, but it'd be like legitimate shit, like not know how to get away with nothing and no shit like that. And I
Right.
remember this one dude was talking about like how he was scared to live in college because he didn't want to be around gay people, because and not on some hate shit, but on some like he was really a devout Christian, and I could tell he was like having trouble, reconciling those issues. And the old head dude told him, well, remember, if you have ultimate faith in God, like you said, he's the last judge. So don't take it upon yourself to judge anybody. You don't have to feel uncomfortable, because God's plan will unfold as it's supposed to. So you're good.
Right. Absolutely.
I thought that was a great answer, because like I ain't gonna say dude, because well yeah, I could just tell like he wasn't coming from a place of animosity. And I feel a lot of times that things get lost in the wash about like intent is what to me is what matters more than anything.
Intent is everything, man. Intent is everything, and I think we need to be gracious with people, right? One of the dopest things that I feel like God created outside of like free will is also like perspective, right? How people see different situations and different things, is all correlated to their experiences and the things that they have been exposed to and stuff like that. So I think overall it's just important for people to have good intentions, meet people where they are, and just show grace, you know what I'm saying, to everyone, and just try to communicate with an open mind.
Yeah, for sure. And like ain't not too many people is beyond redemption. So if you got a righteous cause, ultimately it's better to win people over to it than to crush them with it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, keeping with the music theme, and I say that when you was talking about the mentor, I see you said something about doing sports with him afterwards. So you was a hooper, right?
Man, I was a hooper. Ball was life, for sure. Up until my senior year of high school. school. So I did the whole, AAU team stuff, played my whole entire life. Played varsity basketball at Providence St. Mel. Was the captain my senior year. We got third in state. I was first team all state my senior year as well. What was that?
I said third in the state. That's impressive in Illinois.
Yeah, I mean, granted, we were 2A, you know what I'm saying? We weren't like 3A or 4A, we didn't have to go against like the Jabari Parkers and the Kendrick Nuns and, the people who you see in the NBA now. But, it definitely was a tough road, you know what I'm saying? And that's definitely something that I am proud of. But yeah, ball definitely was life for me, man. Yeah, I definitely missed it.
You an NBA fan?
Definitely.
Bulls?
Got hard.
Did you know how good Daniel Gafford was?
What was that?
Did you know how good Daniel Gafford was?
I didn't. I did not know.
I didn't either, but I'm glad y'all traded him.
Right? I'm sure you appreciate that. But yeah, man. I grew up a Bulls fan, so I was born in '96, right? So I was born in '96. Obviously, the Jordan years. And when I was in grammar school, my dad, he actually surprised our families with like season tickets to the Bulls. So obviously they weren't all that good in the early 2000s, but being a kid from the west side of Chicago and just being able to walk to the United Center, see the Michael Jordan statue and just witness a live NBA game, man, those are definitely.
You saw like Kurt Heinrich and shit.
Kirk Heinrich, Ben Gordon, Chris Duhon. You know what I'm saying? All those teams up until Derrick Rose, up until his rookie year. So like from 02 to like 08.
I saw Chris Duhon get curved by a mediocre white chick one time. That shit was hilarious.
That's hilarious. Shout out to Chris Duhon, man.
Yeah. Shout out to Chris Duhon. Damn, bro. So when is some of that music coming out? Because like that song on you got a duet on end. I mean, I really liked all them songs for different reasons. Like one thing I noticed a lot of R&B now is just either party, love, but like ultimate love or fucking. But like you listen to like Marvin Gaye albums and I say what's going on. He's talking what's going on, no pun intended. But yeah, you know what I'm saying, or even like Stevie Wonder or people have like I guess nowadays they call them concept albums, but they'd have albums that wouldn't even have hardly nothing to do with no love or romance. And,
right.
and I like that your music has that aspect. So yeah, so if you would, could you speak on adding some diversification to your topics as a singer and hit me to who sings that duet with you on it?
Yeah. So one, I appreciate that, man. In terms of the unreleased music that you have, I haven't shared that with a lot of people, so I'm definitely glad that you dig it. The song that you're talking about is called The End.
The Superfacts Network, home of Jump Pop, SDE, and the Superfacts Show, now available on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts from. Come check out St. Laz, G from the Shop, and Mark Waldo Ward.
Sweet. So the end, that track that you're talking about, the female voice that you hear on that record is my good friend SOS, amazing artist. And to answer your question just about, versatility, I think that's really important as an artist, to just show different sides of yourself. As a man, to show different sides of yourself and to most definitely be vulnerable and to just talk about your experiences, right? That song is about, well, I won't spoil it, but at the end of the day, is this temporary or is this the end, right? Just not understanding, where we are in our relationship and really just taking a shot, right? I was definitely vulnerable, when I wrote that song, and I think it's important for, all artists, but most definitely, men to just get back to pouring your heart out in your lyrics and just singing from your soul and writing from that soul. You know what I'm saying? What comes from the soul reaches the soul, and I think that's important. We got so many, young boys growing up. Earlier we were talking about the kids that I mentor. We got so many kids who haven't, seen men just embrace their emotions, right? And just be comfortable and secure in their feelings and the things that they feel. So I definitely take it upon myself to just embrace those things and embrace my experiences and actually go through the process of, analyzing them and reflecting and, expressing them through my art, just to show that that's okay and it's actually cool, it's healthy. So
Yeah, no doubt.
that's kind of my approach.
Do you have white friends?
Definitely.
So if one of your white friends was gonna have a baby with a black woman and wanted your advice on what he should say as a father to his black child, what would you tell him?
Yeah, well, that's a great question. I would, well, hopefully before he has this black woman, pregnant and just dealing with the black woman, I would think that my white friend would come to me, just when it comes to just understanding how to even approach, what I'm saying, a black woman and how, complex and how unique, black women are. But if, my white friend were to get a black woman pregnant and have a baby with her, I will most definitely expect him to come to me and for us to have those talks, right? There's going to be a lot of things, a lot of experiences that, their child would, experience, especially if he has a son, that he would have no idea about.
Yeah. This is John.
Of this Black American experience.
Word. Tat. Man, in some ways though, all you gotta do is live around poverty, because like ain't shit real, like the term black on black crime is intrinsically like flawed, racist, whatever you want to call it, because almost all crimes are perpetrated on people that live around them, and people that you live around in America are typically of your own ethnicity.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
Poor white people get mistreated by police as well, just not as bad. It's not the same. It's executed in a different manner. But all that shit really got to change. Like I think some of it is playing. Like I think the worst thing is that America got people thinking that they each other's enemies, when in reality, like poor white people and poor black people have much more in common than rich black people and poor black people. Rich white people and poor white people. I mean, for real, in socioeconomic matters, other than like racist practices like by the police and shit, which undoubtedly, and like harsh sentencing laws, which undoubtedly go further into the black community. But outside of the racist practice, socioeconomically, you don't really find no differences amongst nobody by any metrics. People are as educated as the education is provided to them. If you give people the same amount of resources, they'll have the same amount of literacy.
Yeah, no, I definitely see, what you're saying by that, but I also, think a huge part of, these issues is, the ability and the opportunity to have that upward mobility, right? You can take the money away, you know what I'm saying, from.
You're right, it's definitely not just money, that's for sure.
Right. It's definitely not just money. Because, at the end of the day, and, Jay-Z said it perfectly, still nigga, right? No matter what, that's how they see you, in spite of how much money you have. LeBron James a couple years ago, they spray painted it on his house, you know what I'm saying? The whole, shut up and dribble thing, all microaggressions, all insinuations of cool, you can be, one of the most powerful black men, in the world, but this is still how I see you. So, again,
I mean, does that ever really gonna change? No matter how good shit get, it's always gonna be people that think that way, of all races and walks of life. I mean, there's always I mean, it sounds cliche, but there's always a hater.
Yeah, for sure. Will it change? You know,
Might be less of them, I guess.
yeah, I mean, I feel like that's up to us, right? I feel like that's up to, you know,
People
again,
gotta
just
learn how to see themselves in each other. You know, like they got like there's gotta be gap bridging, and you know, admittedly, I don't know that that's Black America's responsibility because I don't know that they created the gap, but all disenfranchised people, you know, anybody who looks down or askew, would you say, at any group, you know, if they can start seeing themselves in it, it's a lot harder to do that.
for sure, for sure. And you know, people lack empathy, right? And when you're in a place of privilege and certain things don't affect you, it's like I don't have to care about certain things because I benefit from this system, right? So, you know, I think that, you know, again, it's going to take all of us, and it's going to take a lot of white folks, you know, stepping up and holding other white people accountable, right? In these spaces. So if you're white and if you're, you know, listening to this and you are, you know, aware and conscious of the, you know, systemic racism and all the BS that's, you know, happens to, you know, people of color and just marginalized people, you know, most definitely take it upon yourself to, you know, not shy away from moments to educate other people of privilege. That's really important. And again, allyship is very important as we, you know, just kind of deconstruct and dismantle, you know, this huge issue of racism in America, man.
You know, in keeping with that about the educating and informing, you know, Martin Luther King Jr. I mean, many civil rights people thought that the best way to, you know, win the day, because, you know, I wouldn't label Martin Luther King as a revolutionary, but, you know, to advance their cause would be if they could bring poor white people on board, because, you know, that's where the numbers are. There's far more poor white people than rich white people. So, you know,
For
if you
sure.
believe in the democracy and the two systems and all that, you know, theoretically, you want voters. So if you can get poor white people on your side, them there's voters, you know. I mean, especially in Illinois,
For sure.
like I know
Yeah,
that shit would have to greatly affect the governorship of Illinois.
for sure, no doubt.
That's to affect Chicago.
Absolutely. And I think what you're alluding to is, again, people seeing the parallels, right? People bridging the gaps, people connecting the dots. And the more we can get people to see that, the more we can get people to do that, I think we'll see more change.
You know, I'm really fascinated by the whole mentor thing, you know, like how even like when you were describing the versatility in music, you were almost speaking as a mentor in the way that you're going to relay your experience, or even just now when we're talking about the racial issues, you know, you speak like a mentor. And usually it's just cliche and shit, but like, who were some of like your musical mentors, and you know, even if you never met them, you know, just from absorbing their material. And is there any like real life music mentor you had that stands out?
Yeah. So one, I've always, you know, in terms of my influences, you know, from a distance, you know, you got the Stevie Wonders, the John Legends, the Commons, the, you know, just Black entertainment in general, right? We talk about how important that representation is. It's just important for, you know, people to see themselves, right? And I would always see myself when I would see, you know, them just kind of doing their thing. Personally, you know, a lot of my inspiration, and I got drawn to music through the church, you know, through my choir, through praise and worship, through, you know, my pastor, you know, and also, you know, as I just kind of grew and developed into my artistry, there are most definitely, you know, a lot of people who have, you know, just invested in me, right? One of the first people that comes to mind is Malcolm Little. He really helped me get my start. Mark Hubbard is another person who comes to mind. He's currently the governor of the Grammy chapter of the Midwest. There's been plenty of people
Sound like a good mentor to have.
Absolutely. Definitely honored to be, you know, connected to him, and for him to, you know, just see something in me to want to, you know, invest in and help mold and cultivate. So, I would say that those are a handful of people who, invested, and supported and inspired me along the way.
Man, that's what's up, brother. So, Dear America, that's what you're pumping right now, pushing right now, or is it okay? So what's next?
Yeah, great question, right? So Dear America is obviously, the song, the latest song that I released. But for me, since I am so invested in the community and youth and mentorship, is really about the projects and the things that we're gonna do through the song. So right now, I've been obviously promoting this record, but also just really networking with people in the community, organizations in the community, to figure out how can we use this song to spark conversation, to actually make some change. I kind of want to make a whole, project out of this song. So we're working on a lot of things in terms of that. People can go on my website, B.Lilly music.com, to subscribe and to, get notified of the things that we're going to be doing in the community to kind of push this message out and spark a lot of conversations. And I'll keep that as that right now. Also, with the world opening back up, it's time to get back on stages. It's time to get back in the field and touch the people. Right? It's been a year of some change, so I'm most definitely excited to get back out there, to just get back in the swing of things. And at the right time, I'll drop the rest of my unreleased music. Right? There's definitely some more stuff in the tank. And I'm just excited to show, the versatility and what I have to offer.
You said trying to figure out some of the best things to do, and we was talking about the home ownership earlier. But how do you feel about like one thing I wish is that it was cooler to kids to read. Like every metric on how the more you read, the more successful you are. Like it ain't no cliche, it ain't no made up shit. Like that shit is real. And I wish there was more focus on reading.
For sure.
Like and not school reading either, but like
For sure.
reading for enjoyment. Like it's something, it's a tool, it's useful. It's not something to dread.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a great point. I was definitely a kid who didn't enjoy reading, but just wasn't reading the things that was interesting to me. So I felt like it's important for us to, really, take the time to really see what are the desires and the passion, of these kids, and then just kind of take it from there. Education should definitely be, individualized, and just kind of put people in the put these kids in the best position to be successful. Something that was embedded in me as a kid was that it's cool to be smart, right? I went to a school, Providence St. Mel, where we celebrated academic success, we celebrated academic achievement, and I think that played a role in me just embracing that part of me. And I think if more students, more children were empowered in that way, we'll definitely see that change that you're talking about.
Word. And they gotta be, they can't be hungry either. Like, I thought one of the best things the Panther Party did was have free breakfast. Like I wonder how many kids, just because of that breakfast, did way better in school than years they had access to it, that went on to do great things.
Facts. It all goes into it, right? It's so many layers, right? And we just gotta continue to do what we have to do to make sure that we're doing our parts to give equity to those who are not as fortunate as other, and make sure that we're doing what we can to make sure that every student is not forgotten and in a position to be successful.
I mean, salute to you, brother, because I mean, I admire what you're doing from the music to working with the program. You're off to, quite the start in these matters, and I anticipate, more of the same, just bigger and better.
Man, I appreciate that, and I appreciate you, man. I appreciate this conversation, right? I think me and you having this conversation right now and just chopping it up is definitely this mantling a lot of things. I think is definitely important for people to see that. And I want to encourage you to also just continue to be the change as well, man. You're really smart, brother. You asked me some great questions that made me think, and I think people like you know, you feel me, can definitely, you know, contribute greatly, you know what I'm saying, to the cause just by using your voice and continuing to ask questions and bridge gaps, man. We got to keep doing this thing.
I mean, we be bridging hella gaps over here. My kids knew who Fred Hampton was way before the movie.
Hey, love to see it.
Yes, sir. Hey, before you get out of here though, man, let's not forget the social medias and what's your website again? B.Lilly.com.
Yeah, so y'all can visit my website at www.blillymusic.com. You can follow me on social media at B_LILLYJR. B_LILLYJR.
No doubt. And y'all make sure you go out and check out B.Lilly, Dear America right now. Be on the lookout for more music. You can find his music all streaming platforms, YouTube, all that good stuff. And thanks for the thought-provoking conversation, brother. And thank you for your time.
Hey, I appreciate you, man. It's made my day.
Shit, thank you, man. Well, shit, you take a light, brother. You have a good night.
Sure, you too. Peace.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Love.